You've probably heard of Darius the Great. You might know him as the Persian king who went to war with Greece, who built Persepolis, who ruled over one of the most powerful empires the ancient world had ever seen. But here's the question nobody asks. How did he actually get there? Because Darius wasn't first in line for the throne. He wasn't even close. What he was clever. Dangerously clever. And what he pulled off to become king of Persia is one of the most jaw-dropping political maneuvers in all of ancient history. And it started with a whispered plan, a dark night, and a very well-trained horse. This empire, founded by the legendary Cyrus the Great, was massive. It was one of the greatest empires in human history. An empire stretching from Greece to India, controlling millions of people and centuries of civilization. But by 522 BCE, things were a mess. Cyrus's son, Cambyses II, had taken the throne, and while Cambyses was away on a military campaign in Egypt, a rumor started spreading back home, a dangerous one. People were saying that Bardia, the king's younger brother who was supposed to be dead, had suddenly reappeared and seized the throne back in Persia. But here's the twist, it wasn't actually Bardia. It was a Magian priest named Gaumata. He looked enough like the dead prince to pull off the deception. And for a while, it worked. When Cambyses heard the news, he immediately turned back to deal with it. But fate had other plans. While mounting his horse in Syria, the cap of his sword sheath fell, and his own blade pierced his thigh. He died shortly after. Just like that, the most powerful empire in the world had no king. The throne was occupied by an imposter, and the Persian nobility. They were terrified. Now, when you have a power vacuum that large, someone is going to try to fill it. And in this case, it was a group of seven of Persia's most powerful noblemen. Among them was a man named Darius, son of Hystaspes, young, ambitious, and very, very calculated. They gathered in secret. They all knew the truth about Gaumata, and they made a decision. The false king had to go. Gaumata was clever. He almost never appeared in public, hiding behind palace walls. But he had a physical secret that would ultimately be his undoing. Both of his ears had been cut off, carefully concealed beneath his royal headdress. The 7 conspirators knew this was their one undeniable proof. The king's brother, Bardia, had ears. The problem was getting close enough to confirm it. That's where Phaedeme came in, the daughter of one of the 7 nobles, Oebares, who was already inside the palace as one of the king's wives. Oebares reached out to her in secret, asking her to do something extraordinarily dangerous. While the king slept, reach up and feel for his ears. One night, in the darkness of the royal bedchamber, she did exactly that, and confirmed the truth. No ears. The man on the throne was a fraud. The 7 nobles moved immediately. They rode to the palace together, got inside, and in the violent struggle that followed, Darius drove his sword through Gaumata. Swift, brutal, final. The usurper was gone. But that immediately raised another question, perhaps an even more dangerous one. Now that the imposter was gone, which one of the 7 would actually be king? And this is where the story gets truly extraordinary. They made a gentleman's agreement. The next morning at sunrise, they'd all ride out together. The first man whose horse neighed when the sun broke over the horizon, that man would be king. Simple, right? Almost poetic. Leave it to fate, leave it to the gods. Except Darius had absolutely no intention of leaving it to fate. That evening, Darius pulled aside his groom, a man named Oebares. Now, Oebares was no ordinary stable hand. He was the kind of man Darius trusted completely, the sort of person who had spent years through consistent devotion to his master's horses and his master's interests. He knew those animals the way a craftsman knows his tools, their temperaments, their instincts, what moved them and what calmed them. And the conversation between them, recorded by Herodotus, is one of those moments that makes ancient history feel incredibly human. Darius said to him, "Oebares, we have decided that whichever of us has his horse, neigh first at sunrise, will be king. Now, if you have any cleverness in you, use it. Do not let any other man be king but me." And Oebares replied without missing a beat, "My lord, if your being king depends on this, be of good cheer. You shall be king." That night, Oebares went to work. He led a mare, a female horse, to the exact location where the 7 nobles would gather the next morning. Then he brought Darius's male horse, a stallion, to that same spot. He walked the stallion around the mare, once, twice, 10 times. The stallion snorted. He pulled at his rope. He wanted her. Oebares kept them there for hours. Then he led the stallion away. But the stallion did not forget where she stood. Now here is the clever part. Oebares reached down. He rubbed his bare hand against the mare's skin. Her smell, sharp, musky, alive, stuck to his palm like a secret. He did not wash his hand. He walked back to the stable. He tucked that hand inside his tunic, hidden from every eye. The smell stayed there all night. At sunrise, the 7 nobles mounted their horses. Oebares walked behind Darius, invisible, a servant among servants. He waited. As Darius's stallion passed, Oebares brought his hand close to the horse's nostrils. The stallion caught the scent, and it neighed. Loudly, clearly, first. Herodotus writes that at that exact moment, as the horse neighed, the sky cracked with lightning and rolled with thunder, out of a clear blue sky. The other 6 nobles dropped from their saddles. They prostrated themselves before Darius. "The gods have spoken," they whispered. To every man standing there, it looked like the heavens themselves had just confirmed their answer. The son of Satrapies was now the king of kings. What Darius built in the years that followed is genuinely remarkable. He divided the empire into 20 administrative regions called Satrapies, each with its own governor, but all reporting back to the center. He introduced a standardized gold currency, the Daric, to unify trade across the empire, and he commissioned the Royal Road, a roughly 600-mile engineering marvel that connected the empire from end to end and allowed information and armies to move at speeds the ancient world had never seen before. He ruled for 36 years, and here's the most telling sign of how well he built his systems. When Alexander the Great swept through and conquered the Persian Empire 2 centuries later, he didn't tear it all down. He kept the satrapies. He kept the tax systems. He kept the royal road. The structures Darius designed were so effective that even his conqueror decided they were worth keeping. All of that, every road, every satrapy, every gold coin, traces back to a single cold morning in 522 BCE. A stallion, a clever groom, a flash of lightning, and one man who absolutely refused to leave his destiny to chance. History is full of these moments, where preparation meets perception, where a single calculated move changes everything. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, go ahead and hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more history lovers like you. And if you want more stories like this, the hidden moments, the backstage decisions, the real turning points of ancient history, make sure you're subscribed. We've got a lot more coming. Drop a comment below and tell me, do you think Darius deserved to be king, or was it all just a very good trick? I'll see you in the next one.